Welcome to We Are the City. This is a series of inspirational videos where we've asked some of the city's most senior women to share their inspirational stories with you. We hope by watching these clips you will feel motivated enough to go on and live your own career dreams. We really hope you enjoy what we have to share for you, and once again thank you for being members of We Are the City.
The reason behind these videos is to inspire more women to take up careers here in the city. So let's get started.
I work at HSBC and I work on the corporate development team there. I've been with HSBC for about 5 years. I focus a lot on the people strategy and also the sustainability strategy within our businesses. But before that, I've had a very wide-ranging portfolio career. I've been through a lot, seen a lot, done a lot, but I'm actually quite enjoying my time in financial services now.
And your actual job title is Chief Operating Officer,
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. The joy of a COO kind of role is I think all that expertise and the diversity of things that I've done before actually play out really nicely, because it does encompass looking at some of the more sort of financial and cost related, but also it's looking very much at how what we do around our infrastructure areas is relating back to what we're delivering in the front offices of our business. It changes every day. You know, there's no sort of set formula for I do the same thing at 8 o'clock every morning.
I guess that's why you love it.
Yeah, it's that, you know, when I wake up every day, I've got something new to go and think about and try and address.
What would you say would be your main challenges that you've come across, whether it's as a woman or specifically in the roles you've had? What would you say was the main issues?
Gosh, I mean, I have personally hit almost, every roadblock that one can have in a career along the way. I've been made redundant, I've had psycho bosses, and hopefully the key to the success around that is to actually not look at those things as challenges so much as opportunities, and to know that when something like that happens, which is, some people might think of it's a really bad thing and tend to dwell on that, is just to say this is just part of having a career, and it's looking at the opportunities around those kind of situations and moving on quickly and swiftly if it's a situation that you can't recover from.
How do you kind of juggle the life-work balance? Do you find it difficult?
My son is 4.5 now, but since he's been around, I've had incredible bosses who've been really supportive. And I've also had a terrific nanny who's been with me from the start. I think that it's actually quite key to have a supportive work environment and supportive childcare to ensure actually that I can go and do all the other things that I want to do for my career. When I'm focused on him, it's just about him. But if I'm out and about with him or just sort of supervising him on the playground, I'm on my BlackBerry. I work flexibly around what I need to for him or for work, and I do find myself, I think, the most productive hour of the day when I find myself communicating with a lot of other working moms is between 10 and 11 o'clock at night. That's the time when everything else is quiet, the house is clean, the kids are in bed, and everybody can finally, sort of focus back on, and having had time to think about what's happened during the day, to then sit down again and go, right, I'm going to do another hour of emails or, writing some documents that I need to do. I feel everybody else doing the same thing, and I feel the communication's coming back at me at that hour, so that's been a really interesting thing to see.
Do you think there's still a stigma for women who are trying to work their way up in the corporate ladder but also want to be parents? Do you think it's still an issue, or do you think that the city is slowly coming around to it?
I do think that the city's coming around to it. I think there are pockets. There are people who I hear who still have bosses who don't understand, but there are more and more people who absolutely do, and where work is trying to be more conscious of how they need to operate, flexibly, but it's just making sure that everybody's on board to understand how that can really work most effectively.
Women in the Wharf, there's some kind of network going on. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so Women on the Wharf is something that we started about 2 years ago. We've now got 11 firms, and it's most of the big towers around Canary Wharf. And what we wanted to do is actually share the benefits of what we were learning throughout each of our individual gender-related networks. So share experiences, share best practice across the networks between the network heads and the members, and also look at what kinds of events that we could do collaboratively. We know that across the wharf, when we're losing women out of industry entirely. Most of the time we're not losing them to competitors.
Right.
A lot of women will just opt out, so it's in all of our interests together to look at how we actually keep more women in the industry and keep them in the wharf.
Do you think that some people are reluctant, especially in your industries, to network because they think that they're essentially networking with their competitors?
No, I think it's been very much the opposite. The appetite is absolutely there, especially with women, to meet more women at other firms, understand what other firms are doing. Developing those external networks is key. I think in terms of getting ahead, or in terms of actually even just improving how you're able to deliver in your own job. I think, for me, that's been the most critical learning, is the fact that I'm now participating in all these networks means that I can pick up the phone and get an answer or make something happen in one phone call because I know the right person, or I can escalate to the right person.
Yeah.
So it makes me infinitely more effective. And so I spend more and more and more of my time networking, whether it's through things like, We Are the City and the networks that are supportive of that, or Women on the Wharf. And I also launched a network internally within HSBC. It wasn't a women's network, it's a gender balance network. So we've got both men and women working together on the issues that we have around gender balance at all levels of the organization.
If you could give our We Are the City members a piece of advice when they're thinking of moving into a career, or they're already in their career, what would you say your bit of advice would be?
I think it's stay at it. I think a lot of times I meet people who have gotten disheartened or are not sure, and I think half of it is just about having the will. It's a bit of a game to be played as well, but things like networking, mentoring, the more people you know in terms of helping you get ahead and trying to maintain a sense of clarity around what the real challenges are, it can be done. There are more and more really successful women who are proving that.
Yourself included. Thank you very much.
Thanks.